Have you ever been in or are currently in a situation where you're clearly more invested than the other person? You're thinking about them all the time. You're the one reaching out more often. You're the one hoping the connection will deepen. And they seem interested, but just not in the same way, not with the same urgency, not with the same energy. And the confusing part is that often they don't reject you either way. They just keep enough of the connection alive to make you wonder if things might at some point in the future change. One real reason this is so difficult to leave is something that psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes something like gambling addictive. When rewards are unpredictable, our brains actually become more attached. If someone is constantly just ignoring you, eventually you're going to lose interest. But when someone gives you attention sometimes, just enough to keep hope alive, your brain keeps trying. Every warm message, every good moment that you have together, every little sign of interest feels like proof that maybe the relationship is moving forward. And that cycle, that loop that you stay in, can keep you emotionally invested far longer than you intend. Another dynamic that often appears in these situations is what I call the pursuit trap. When you feel someone pulling away slightly, the natural instinct is to lean in, to try harder, to text more carefully. You make more effort. You try to show them how much you care. But the more one person pursues, the more the other person tends to relax. Not necessarily because they're manipulative, but because the emotional energy of the connection is already being supplied by someone else. And the attraction rarely grows in that kind of dynamic, because attraction needs movement in both directions. There's an idea in tantric philosophy that actually explains this dynamic very well. The idea is simple. Energy follows attention. Wherever your attention goes, your energy goes with it. So when you're constantly thinking about someone, wondering how they feel, checking your phone, trying to move the relationship forward, all of your energy is moving outward towards them. And the more your energy moves outwards, the less centered you tend to feel inside yourself. In tantric philosophy, attraction isn't created by chasing. It's created by contained energy, by someone who is grounded in themselves instead of constantly reaching forward. If you notice yourself stuck in one of these dynamics, try something simple with me for a moment. Take a slow breath in and out. And now imagine the whole situation. The texting, the waiting, the wondering. Imagine it as a loop. See the loop that you keep walking into. The same thoughts, the same hopes, the same disappointment. Now imagine yourself, see yourself stepping to the edge of that loop and just pausing there instead of walking back into it. Notice what your body does when you think about this person. Is your chest tight? Is there a feeling of reaching, of waiting? Now imagine gently pushing that loop away from you, just a little bit, and creating some space between you and the pattern. Then bring yourself and your attention back into your own body. Because attention is a form of energy. And sometimes the most powerful shift is simply bringing that energy back to yourself. So just notice yourself bringing this energy back to yourself, to your heart. Here's the part that can be difficult to hear. Most of the time, the other person isn't confused. They're comfortable. They enjoy your attention. They like your company, but they're not feeling the same level of pull that you are. And as long as you stay in the dynamic, that loop, hoping, reaching, waiting, they don't have to make a clear decision. The situation is working for them. They get connection without commitment. And that limbo can last a very long time unless you take your power of choice by leaning into your self-worth enough to allow yourself to jump out of that loop. So how can you support yourself in these situations? The first step is honesty. Instead of asking how you can make this work, ask, what is actually happening now? Is this person meeting you halfway, or are you carrying most of the emotional investment? Once you see the dynamic clearly, the next step is to stop doing the work of the relationship for both people. Not as a strategy, not as a game, but as a way to restore balance for yourself. When you bring your energy back to yourself, two things actually happen. Either the other person moves towards you, or the connection dissolves. And in both outcomes, you get clarity, and you will have really appreciated and learned to appreciate the inner resources that you have, particularly when you can see that you do have power of choice in any situation, in any relationship. Being more invested than someone else doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, that you're not good enough. It simply means the pull isn't mutual. And while that can be painful, it's also important information, because real attraction moves in both directions. It doesn't require constant convincing. It doesn't require carrying the emotional weight of the connection alone. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step out of the loop, bring your energy back to yourself, and allow space for something more mutual to appear. My name is Kristen, and I'm so happy that you are here with me today. And if you would like to have more conversations like this with me, I make videos like this that come out every single week. Please subscribe. I would love for you to be a member of the community so I can connect with you more. Also, please give me a like if you enjoyed this. Please pass it along to your friends if you think they need to hear it. And hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I do my Journal with Me sessions live, where I give you prompts on all of these types of questions, and we can reflect and support each other in community while chilling out to some relaxing music and taking time for yourself to connect to your inner resource, your inner guidance system, and do it while being with other people who are like-minded and are into self-awareness and want to bring the sovereignty back to their choice in love. I will see you in the next one. Bye.